Hello. Hello. This is the long-awaited Ping cart bag test for 2023 from Golf FM. Okay, so I'm going to start with the heaviest of the lot, the Ping Tour Staff Bag. Now, the first thing I want to get out of the way is which is the front of a staff bag and which is the back of a cart bag, because this has been a much discussed topic amongst me and fellow professionals for a long time. Now, I strongly believe that this is the front of the bag. So when you hear me talking about this bag and where things are, I'll be talking about this as the front, because that to me is the front of the bag. These pockets are at the front of the bag. On any other bag, that is the back, okay? Why then does it suddenly change that that's the front? I've heard quite a few people talking about this as the front. I'm not going to mention any names, but that to me is not the front. When you put your name on there as a tour pro, your name is on the back of the bag. I don't care. I don't see why that it has to be that your name would be on the front of the bag, name is on the back of the bag, and that is the front of the bag. You can obviously put your opinion in the comments, but and let me know if you're a front of the bag person or that's the front of the bag person, which is crazy talk to me, I'm afraid. But anyway, so on with the bag test for 2023. This could be, I could be here quite some time because we've got all of the bags that they do in the cart range, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm not the quickest bag reviewer in the world because I like to go through it properly and show you the pockets and talk about all the things that they do. So I'm not just going to whiz through it, although I'm going to try to be a little bit quicker than I normally would, or it literally would be about 3 hours we'd be here for. So this is a silly bag to buy, okay, because it is very heavy, 4.96 kilograms, and that is almost a 2-man lift with clubs in it and stuff in it. I mean, it's quite heavy just on its own, but once you start putting things in it, it gets really, really heavy. But if you want to look the part, then these are the bags to go for. They do fit on trolleys, okay? They fit on power trolleys, not too bad. And as I say, they look the part. But in terms of practicality, it's not that great. Okay, there is a bit of space in here, but one of the things I want to remark on is how tight this side pocket is. I mean, look at that. That's me stretching out quite a lot, and I'm almost struggling to get my hand in. I'm not sure what you put in there other than like files and stuff like that, files of paper, documents. It's like a sleeve that you would carry documents in. You could get stuff in there, but it's not great. It's got 2 of them. So, you can get double the documents that you want there, passports, wills, stuff like that in there, all sorts of stuff. But in terms of golf stuff, I'm not so sure how useful that is. Good pocket at the front, quite deep, not bad. I like the way they just pull up and magnetically go back down again. A fan of that pocket. Nice padded strap, which you're not going to use. Kind of gets in the way of opening this pocket, but again, it's just the looks. It's kind of showing off I'm a good player, or I want to think I'm a good player, or I've got bags of money, I'm going to buy this bag so everybody knows I've got bags of money. As a club pro, I do have one of these, the rare event that I actually play in a tournament. It's nice to sort of look as though maybe you know what you're doing, even if you don't. So back to the bag itself, pockets that are useful for putting stuff in here. But again, there's not a lot of give. It is so tightly made in its construction that there's just not a lot of give. And that bag pocket is going to be down here most of the time. So it's maybe the spine of the trolley is there pushing into it a little bit. So it's compromised and it's not easy once you're in there. The reason I didn't even talk about that entryway is because if it's on a trolley, then it's not terribly well accessible anyway. I mean, that's great if you've got a caddy. If you've got somebody going around with you and you're just standing that down, then yes, you can get in and about this, no problem. But that is at the back and in the trolley. See, back again, front, back. See, this is on the back. And then there's a hood in here, nice hood. Do you know what? It's actually a little bit flimsy, if I'm being honest. I thought it might be the vinyl, the same as the bag, which they usually are, but it isn't. Although it does have this little flap thing on it, like that. So you would put that on and even, I don't even know how much of a necessity that is to be a flap like that. I would have just preferred a hard zip similar look to this, so I think it would have been fine. But there's a rain hood. There's 2 little hooks in here as well for hanging things on. If people use them, let me know in the comments, because it seems a little bit like over-engineering for me, that you just would put them somewhere, you don't have to hang stuff on there. And little net pocket in the back there as well. So, I mean, there's a reasonable amount of space in there, but as I say, it's at the back, so it's like, it's a wee bit of a struggle to get to. This is a decent pocket. Again, everything's so tight and so sort of unmalleable, if that's a word. You can't move things very easily. I mean, if you're in a rush and all flustered trying to do stuff, this would annoy you, this bag. And then the umbrella holder, again, I'm starting to wonder whether umbrella can even go in there. It's so tightly made. Let me just get one. So that's an Under Armour umbrella, it's not a Ping one. And actually that went in easier than it looked. And there's one on either side, so you can have a double umbrella with you in case it really is raining and you need 2 umbrellas. I didn't think it had any thermal pockets for keeping drinks hot or cold, but it does actually have these incredibly tight sided pockets with zips in them, which fit bottles. It's just, it's just all open to the air, so you've got hot air getting on top of that if it's trying to keep it cold. But I suppose it's doing something, or if you're trying to keep it hot, again, it's letting heat out. But they've got that on both sides, so you can at least put a couple of bottles. So this is a decent design. You can maybe put your laser in there as well if you wanted. There's no rules, remember. Okay, things are made for certain things, but you can change that. You're allowed to do what you like. Top is as normal for a tour bag, just a simple, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces, which I don't mind. I think some of the times they're over-engineered at the top, so that's perfectly good. And a grab handle under there, and there's a good grab handle under there. So, you know, it's nice. It's not the biggest of tour bags. I think it's a bit tight on space. It could just have a little bit more give to make it easier to use. But yeah, I mean, nice. It's expensive, as they always are. It's £319. That is the Ping Tour Staff Bag. So that's 1 down, 4 to go. Right, so the next heaviest bag in the family is the DLX. The DLX is 1 kilogram, pretty much less weight than that. It's 3.96 kilograms. The DLX is actually, and by the way, that Ping Tour Staff Bag is not waterproof anyway. The vinyl will keep out quite a lot of water, but it's not seam sealed. There's only one waterproof bag in this, and that's the Monsoon, and we'll get to that in due course. The DLX is basically like somebody that wants a tour bag. So it's somebody that really wants this, but has just watched my review and said it's a pile of S. They could then justify this one a little bit more because it's kind of got that staff look. They deliberately make it in this way. I think it's a white one as well, but with normal, sensible pockets on it that you would expect to find it that can actually work on a trolley a bit better. So you've got stuff like a cart strap can go through here, although it's one of the world's hardest things to do, and actually I think it's probably really only meant to be for a ride-on cart. You know, certain countries, certain places, that's really important. It's something I probably just ignore quite a lot of the time because we don't have a lot of play on carts here. But that would secure it round the cart, the ride-on cart, very well. It's a little bit of a faff and difficult thing to put through on a trolley, as I've demonstrated in some of my other videos. But it can be done, and it is on very secure once it's on. This has 2 big side pockets, which there's a lot more room for maneuver in there. That really goes out. That is a huge pocket, and you've got that on both sides. So already I'm starting to be impressed with this. It's got a little mesh bit on the side there inside that. I think the other one's the same on the other side. And this has got the big vinyl hood. That's what it's expected to find in the tour bag. Matches the material of the thing. So yes, it takes up a lot more space, but actually in this one you can afford that space because you've got these 2 massive side pockets. So what else have we got here? We've got top pocket there, just vinyl in there. I wouldn't say that these are definitely waterproof pockets. They possibly, that one has a waterproof zip section on it. In fact, they both do. So they probably claim to be waterproof pockets up there. Good sized pockets for valuables in there. You've got the wee completely useless bits for pens and things that nobody really uses. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Glove thing, which you know my feelings on that, not required. but fine. Doesn't hurt to have a bit of Velcro there. Top pocket, nice, that's sort of furry valuables pocket. That's huge. I mean, that pocket's cavernous, massive little slot pocket in there is good with a wee run out vent for water. Then you've got a zipped version here of this pocket. Again, just not insulated at the moment. And then cooler pocket down the bottom. And the question is, could you get a roast chicken in there? A medium-sized one, probably not huge. You're certainly not getting vegetables in there either. It's like, yeah, you're getting just the chicken in there to keep it warm. And anyway, you've got water and stuff like that to think about. There's some of these, the reason I say that is some of them you could literally get a roast dinner in it. It's got so much cooling. That's nice actually, I like the way that's sort of stitched round there and nothing's going to fall outside when it comes down. Looks good, fully insulated. So anything else I've missed? It's a 14-way top. Oh, I tell you what I've missed. This is a peculiar addition. When I first saw these out the back, I thought, what on earth is that? These are for shoes. Look at this, get a shoe in there, shoe in there. Tell you what, and off you go. I may be an absolute ton weight lifted it. You got all your stuff in it and your shoes, but I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Forget, I even want to leave them in there and they're all wet and getting all mouldy and stinky. But you know, if you haven't got a little bag with you with stuff for change of clothes or stuff, and you're just changing out of certain shoes, and they're, you know, it's not a bad idea. That it's unnecessary. It doesn't. They don't have to have that. I mean, it's the only bag design I've ever seen with that. But you know what? Surprise and delight. That's what they always say, isn't it? With certain things, you know, it's like a nice little feature. You don't have to use it. It's not at the expense of anything else. I quite like this. I've never really stocked this before because it's quite expensive again. It's like £215. It's quite heavy. Umbrella on, is it umbrella on both sides? Umbrella on both sides. Oh no, actually, yeah, it is just one umbrella. So yeah, no, I like that bag. I didn't really think I was going to like it, but I do like it. I like it more than I like the next one, which is the Pioneer. So we're going in order of heaviness, and this is the Pioneer, and it's 3.4 kilograms. So it is still quite heavy, but it's not as heavy obviously as those two. Welcome back, old friend. If you've watched my other video on the Pioneer versus the Traverse, this is the very bag from the same video made about a year ago. So it's not been a great seller, it has to be said. Anyone wants to make me an offer for this, you know, put it in the comments and I'll consider all offers. I don't really know why it's not a great seller, because I didn't absolutely rip it apart in the review. I said it was pretty good. I just didn't think it was as good value as the Traverse is, and I still think that. I couldn't really see the advantage of this over the Traverse, and you're talking about £199 for this and £169 for the Traverse. I think there's a little bit more pocket space and a little bit more sectioning off stuff that you can do, but really it's the Traverse kind of does everything that this does for 30 quid less. Big pocket in there at the front. These are all good, these pockets. It's a little bit tighter feeling to move around. I mean, that's good. That's very similar to the DLX, that insulated pocket. Huge. Cavernous, again, is the word I'm going to use. But again, these, I think it was these pockets. I'm going to say that they were a bit tight to get into, but it's really not that bad, actually. I mean, I shouldn't absolutely rip it again, because I do actually want to sell this. And it's got this outer pocket, which again is a decent amount of space. There is a lot of space in this. That's a nice pocket. That's got a nice feel to that valuables pocket there. Cart strap goes right round there and underneath this part, so that's quite good. Secret hidden pocket in there. Giving the game away now on national television, haven't I? Do you know what? It's not really secret. All it is it's a rain pocket, because it's got a rain zip bit there and it's in behind. I don't think it's going to be officially waterproof, because that section is not. This is not waterproof. It's a solid bag. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know why it's not sold particularly well here. But Ping will probably tell me it's their best-selling bag or something like that. To me, it's a kind of bit in the middle. It's like, it's a tiny bit more to it than the Traverse in terms of like pocket arrangement. But actually, there's nothing decisively better that you would need to have over the Traverse. So I think that's where it slightly falls down. And it doesn't look as toury as the DLX. So if you really want to shout about your Ping branding, this is the one to go for. This is slightly more subtle. Different people will like different things. So maybe, you know, you're going to save, if you put it up against this, then it starts to make more sense, because it's a little bit cheaper than that. And it's a little bit lighter. Anyway, you choose. I'm not buying it. So, onto the Traverse. Now I've done a really thorough review of this on another video, so if you want mega detail on that, you need to go and have a look at that. But just to go through this quickly, really good pockets on either side, massive amount of space and quite pliable, gives really well. Little internal spaces in there as well, and this over-engineered wee device which some people probably use. So good space there. Nice pocket at the top, and then we've got another furry valuables pocket, and then we've got another pocket in there as well. And that one, I just want to remark on this, this says tease, okay? Now you are the bag owner if you get this, and because that says tease, there is no reason that you can't put someone else in there if you want to. You could put a Mars bar in there. There is no governing body that is going to come after you because you've actually, so well, hang on a minute, there's an irregularity here. You've put stuff where it's said to put stuff and you haven't put it in there, and you get some sort of fine or something like that. So you can decide to put things where you want. So a lot of these bags will have signs on them about where to put stuff, and you don't have to follow it, okay? You can do what you like. This is a really good pocket, again, very similar to the other ones, the insulated pocket. You're talking roast chicken in there. I mean, it really is that big. Possibly vegetables as well. So very good there. Umbrella holder down there, which I've proved works. On the other one, these are nice pockets. I think I decided they were good for drinks, although if you want to keep them cold, you obviously have to go in the insulated pocket. They're not insulated. That would be a nice touch if they were insulated, actually. Not a shoe pocket, is it? Nah, too much to ask. Yes, very good design dividers all the way down on this one. They all have this cutaway space at the bottom, so they can all fit on trolleys, no problem. Again, it's got this little cart strap place underneath here, which is actually a bit easier to use because it's a little bit more pliable, this material. Not the most waterproof material in the world. It has been likened to a tea bag in terms of its waterproof qualities. I am surprised to hear that, and there's only been one person that said that, so I don't know what kind of day they went out in, but most other people have been able to live with this bag in terms of its rain performance. Put in the comments if you've got any thoughts on that and what it's like in the rain. But that would be my only thing I would say as a downside to this, is it might not be as good in the wet as some of the bags would be. Likes of the heavier bags like the DLX. So even the Pioneer looks a little bit more as though it's going to hold up against bad weather. A wee plus for the Pioneer there. So yes, apart from that, I really like this bag. It's really light. Traverse is 2.78 kilograms, so it's the second lightest before we get to the Monsoon. So yeah, really good bag. As I say, I've been through it in great detail in another test, but it does everything you'd want a bag to do, possibly apart from be that great in the rain. That would be the only thing. So on to the final one, lightest bag, Pioneer Monsoon officially, and 2.71 kilograms. So the lightest bag of all, the only one that's properly waterproof. And for those reasons, on paper, you think, well, why doesn't everybody buy this bag then? If it's waterproof and it's the lightest and it's a cart bag, why wouldn't you just get this? The only thing sometimes is price. It's $249, so it's the second most expensive after this lad, and this guy's not even waterproof. This is impractical and not waterproof and quite a bit more expensive. So we've been through that though. The Pioneer Monsoon, let's have a look at the pockets first of all. Okay, decent pocket at the top for accessories, and then just a little side vent here. It does have a cart strap thing that goes through there. It actually seems quite easy to use. There's quite a lot of give there. This again, a good deep ball pocket in there, followed up by just an open pouch there, which is useful. That'll be useful. Keep a rangefinder in that or something. So you've only got two pockets at the front, but this is the problem with waterproof bags. If you start cutting into them, then you have to seam seal behind that, and that's why they get expensive. That's all the work has to be properly seam sealed. Every time you put a stitch into this, you're bursting through the waterproof material, and then you have to shore it up at the back to make sure no water gets in. So good pocket here, decent pocket. It's actually got a bit of give in it. These can be quite tight. This is no way anywhere near as tight as this offender, which was just for, you know, posting letters into. So that's got on both sides. It's got a hood, decent hood. Oh, a nice bit of ping branding on that. Yeah, it's nice. That looks a decent hood. There's no internal pockets in there. That would be a step too far in terms of cutting through things. Additional pockets on here on both sides as well. Can I get my hands into that? Yeah. I mean, that's actually probably more useful than it looks, because it will be slanted back slightly on a trolley most of the time, so that is going to be easy to get in there. I suppose if it's on a cart that you're driving, then it's going to be up the way, and things might fall out of that a little bit, but I don't know. But yeah, I think it's got a lot going for it. And I just discovered this evening, before we came on air, this lovely feature, which I didn't even know it had. And I think I've had this in the shop for a few months. And look at this. Unbelievable. And the only thing I'm thinking that this is more shoe storage, which I didn't know it had. Now, that to me is surprise and delight feature again, and basically means it's the winner, because it was already looking like the winner in terms of being light and being waterproof, but it's got shoe storage as well, and it sort of opens up like a sort of bird of prey. You know, look at that. It's like one of these things you see sort of jumping off the side of a cliff, you know, and sort of gliding down the sort of Swiss valleys. What's it called? Base jumping. That's what that looks like. Unbelievable. Couldn't believe that. Velcro. And it actually almost shuts up. And the only thing with that is you might lose your shoes. You might have no clue where your shoes are, and you're going around playing in your street shoes, slipping all over the place. Oh, I couldn't find my bloody shoes this morning. They're actually in your bag already. You forgot where you put them. Again, just a nice touch. There's just a little surprise, and you know, that's going to seal the deal for me trying to sell that to somebody. I'm going to leave that till last and then unveil the wings. So yeah, apart from that, just I like it a lot. There's other colours. There are other waterproof bags that are out there, but they don't have wings and they don't have shoe storage. So it could be, I feel a test coming on for the best waterproof bag of all time, and this guy could be a contender. So, I mean, if I look at the range as a whole, we've got that as the winner. Then we've probably got, I think these, no, hang on, you're not going to be able to see me in a minute. These two, so we've got DLX and Traverse equal second, because that DLX is dearer, but it's got, do you know what, it's unashamedly what, you know, a proper bag. It's got lots of pockets, a decent bit of waterproofness. It's solid. It could be handed down through generations. That could become a family heirloom because it's so well made and so sturdy and just does what it says on the tin. Whereas Traverse is not going to be able to be handed down to generations. So it's going to be here today, gone tomorrow to a certain extent. I mean, it'll still, don't get me wrong, it's well made, but it's just lighter, just a lot lighter. So you possibly lose longevity when you start using lighter materials. So that's second equal. Pioneer third, because it doesn't really know what it is. It's a little bit more going on than the Traverse, but not probably as much of a statement piece as the DLX is. So it's probably third, but it does beat the for show only, pretty much, tour bag. I like tour bags, don't get me wrong, they are nice. And it's great if somebody's carrying your bag and you're on tour, that's brilliant, but doesn't make a lot of sense as a sort of private buy. I mean, I just got it in the shop. It's just to hold clubs in, basically. If somebody wants to buy it, great. I mean, there's every chance they won't have seen this review if they buy it, but good luck to them if that's what they want. So that's me. I think that's the Ping Cart Bag review for 2023. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. I will be doing a carry bag review. You've probably already watched that because of the way these things work. I've already done it, and we are now in the, I don't know if I'm in the past or the future or what I'm doing. But thanks for watching if you got this far, and if you could subscribe, that would be brilliant. Appreciate that. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers.